Some games you play forever, like hundreds of hours. And the developers better put some stuff in those games that rewards you for that, and often they do. These are some of those things. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 huge things we've found after hundreds of hours playing these games. Starting off at number 10, it's changing history in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. After over 200 hours of stomping around the medieval world of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, we at gameranx have no idea that you can literally take control of history and change the future if you're willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. Late in the sequel, you'll infiltrate a city council meeting with Henry disguised as a waiter. You'll have to take orders, refill drinks, and most importantly, stand quietly while all the important people are talking. You're there to spy on the usurper king, King Sigismund, basically to learn about what to do next. You're only there to listen and report, not to assassinate anybody, which makes sense. In real history, King Sigismund kicked around for a long time after the credits roll in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. You play in the historical sandbox, but you don't change history in any meaningful way, unless you're paying very, very close attention during the big meeting, that is. At one point during the quest, you'll be sent away to find a silver goblet. While exploring the council chambers away from prying eyes, you'll be able to find a hidden dagger. When the meeting's over, you'll get a small private audience with Sigismund. Normally, you kind of just have to talk to the big bad villain of the game and walk away, but we walked behind his chair. The stealth kill indicator is everything we want from a game like this. You get a big secret ending message for putting an end to Sigismund so early, preventing executions in future wars, but Henry does not make it out of the building alive. It's not exactly what we would call like a canon ending per se, but it's one we had no idea existed after months of playing this game. This ending's even more rare than we thought to. Patch 1.2 breaks this ending, but we can still give the king a taste of cold steel. And number 9 is having the best weapon right away in Clair Obscure Expedition 33. It's new, but there's one big secret that took us a long time to find. Early in the game, you'll reach a village with your party and take part in a combat arena. This is a required part of the game, and you can't miss it. But there's a secret to this arena. Depending on who you use, you'll earn very different rewards, and some of those rewards are way better than others. Normally, you'd fight with your main guy, Gustav. He's the main character and the one you're more familiar with. But the reward you get for fighting with Gustav and winning is actually pretty lame. You'll earn a sword that drops normally in the game and doesn't really offer anything unique. The best choice for this fight is Mayel, because winning the fight earns you the Medallum, which starts you in a virtuous stance, which is already really good for Mayel, and then it gets even better as it levels up. At level 10, every burn is doubled, and at level 20, burn deals double damage. So you'll be burning longer and for more damage. That easily makes this one of the best weapons for Mayel, and one of the best weapons in the game. And number 8 is casting on themselves in Hogwarts Legacy. One of the simplest spells in Hogwarts Legacy can have a devastating effect when used at just the right time. The Expelliarmus spell yanks wands away from enemy casters, leaving them briefly weakened and without their weapons. An upgraded version even lets you throw weapons back at your adversaries, which is a fun additional wrinkle to the combat. But the most fun discovery we found is used on powerful poachers that summon pillars of flame and devastating charged attacks. You can use their own tricks against them. When fighting the poacher executioners, they raise their wands and charge up a powerful magic spell. While they're charging, you can yank the wands right out of their hands with Expelliarmus. Instead of summoning fire on your Hogwarts student, the fire crashes down on the poacher instead, dealing crazy damage and making this the best way to fight these bad guys. Moving on to number 7, it's Mysteries of the Arcane Tower in Baldur's Gate 3. One of our favorite locations in the Underdark. Baldur's Gate 3 is a game where you can spend dozens of hours poring over every location in search of weird secrets. But this magical tower's got some of the best. It's been lost in the Underdark by a traveling wizard. One of the best items in the game is sitting on the top floor. A totally unassuming stool is on the rooftop guarded by a gang of automatons. And you can get friendly with them or you can wipe them out. Either way, you'll find a totally normal stool in one of the dark corners that looks like every other stool. If you examine it, you'll discover the tool has an impressive name, the Stool of Hill Giant Strength, which sounds like a joke, but if you smash the stool, you'll learn that the title is not a joke. Breaking it reveals the Club of Hill Giant Strength, and holding it gives the wielder a 19 strength strat. That's completely insane for weaker characters. Even strong characters might not be that strong, and you'll get it just for wielding this thing in your inventory. You don't even need to use it. Holding it in a weapon slot is enough. This weapon took us multiple playthroughs to find, and even if early players, some found it fairly quickly. And there's even more to explore in the Arcane Tower. By using a hidden lever or just jumping through a hole, you can find a whole secret basement level of the tower. There's some pretty useful stuff down there too, including a staff that lets the wielder cast Bless and a ring that makes you immune to lightning. Secret items are literally everywhere in Baldur's Gate 3. There's no way we're ever going to find them all either. Probably 95% of players will miss a lot of these items, but that's what makes it so awesome. And number 6 is dishing out the most damage in Oblivion Remastered. It's got us deep in Elder Scrolls Mania, this game. And returning to this, well, for some childhood favorite, for others, well, let's not get into what age I was when I played Oblivion. Let's not do that. Anyway, the trek through it again is making us realize how much we missed. Some of the best weapons in the game were available right at the start of the game, or at least very early, and we never realized that it was just sitting there right under our noses. And the best weapon is not a sword. If you want to deal with the most damage of like a base weapon, you don't need to do any enchantments or upgrades, you just need to explore Oblivion. After completing the main story quest to Kvath, Oblivion gates open up all over the world map, and it becomes your job to go inside and bash these demonic worlds into submission. They're heavily randomized, but if you go to the Oblivion gate near the town of Chorrol, you'll enter a specific map with an optional dungeon inside. The optional dungeon is totally unique because none of the other Oblivion gates have one. And there's a secondary tower. There's forbidden chests there. One has the Hatred's Soul Bow and the other the Hatred's Heart Mace. The Soul Bow is what we really want. Combine it with Hatred's Soul Arrows, and this bow can deal more damage than any other weapon in the game. And while the arrows are pretty unique, it is possible to re-enter the Oblivion Gate dungeon through a random gate and, get more. And it's possible to identify which Oblivion world you're going to just by looking into the portal. Depending on what landmarks you see and what direction you're facing, you predict what dungeon the portal will take you to. It's a weird little detail we never really knew until we were replaying Oblivion like 20 years later.
Help! Murder! Oh! Stop! You violated the law!
And number 5 is Saint Trina's Smile from Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. The dirtiest secrets in the Souls games make you work for it, like the bugged illusory wall in the Volcano Manor that required about 50 hits to get rid of, or, countless other things. There's another secret you have to interact with multiple times before anything happens. Deep in the Cerulean coast of the Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC, there's a hidden underground path that's a huge pain in the butt. It's packed with killer stone creatures that snipe your tarnished from long range, protecting the path to a very hidden NPC named Saint Trina. Now, Saint Trina is an important lore character we've only ever heard about in the main game, but if you take a leap of faith from a stone block, you'll drop down into an arena against the Putrescent Knight, one of the most difficult optional bosses in the series. Defeating him leads to Saint Trina's Garden of Deep Purple. Talking to her doesn't reveal a whole lot. There's seemingly no good reason to do it, but there is more to this quest. Talking to Saint Trina has another option. You can choose to imbibe nectar. Now, the nectar kills you instantly, and drinking it once doesn't do anything. Drinking it twice doesn't do anything. 3 times, nothing. You need to drink it 4 times to get a secret message from Saint Trina on the death screen.
Make stop. Don't turn the poor thing into a god.
And then she offers more messages if you drink a 5th and 6th time. Basically, she asks you to kill her brother Mikola, which is the main objective of the expansion, so, well, we're on it, don't worry. This message is actually really important for another NPC. A devoted follower at Tholier can be progressed to St. Trina's chamber, and you can tell him the secret message that she gave you. If you do, he'll attack, and you can acquire an extremely rare unique item called St. Trina's Smile, and that does bonus damage against sleeping enemies. Seeing as sleep is one of the most underused, most powerful, and most understood status effects in the game, it's one Talisman will hold on to for future gimmick runs. And number 4 is Mixed Up Memos and Blueprints, a head-scratching puzzle game we've played for a while, at least between the lot of us. And it also has some of the most mind-blowing secrets we've discovered so far. And like other games on this list, it's difficult to narrow the secrets down just to one choice. Probably the biggest revelation for us, though, had nothing to do with the giant chess pieces, the paintings that actually spell out hidden words, or the secret entrances to the underground. No, the biggest thing we found in Blueprints has to do with memos. You'll find memos all over the estate. Very early on, you'll find memos that are either true or false in the parlor room puzzle. Figuring out which memos are true and which are false is a logic puzzle, but there's more than just logic at play. Later, you'll discover the red memos are always false. Naturally, that must mean the green memos are always true, right? Wrong. Much further in the game, we discover the hidden treasure trove. This rare unlockable blueprint is found through a locked door in the underground, which is a whole other big secret we can't really talk about here. And inside the treasure trove is a locked chest. The chest always contains a note that these notes, they always reveal secrets, stuff we didn't know existed. First of all, red memos aren't always false, green memos aren't always true, blue memos are always true, and depending on the color of the container the memo is sitting on, a white memo might be true or false. Is this confusing yet? Yes, it is. It gets way more complicated too once you unlock even more massive secrets in this brain-melting puzzle game. Discovering everything you thought you understood about Blueprints is actually a lot more complex. It just melts my brain. The whole thing melts my brain. And number 3, Star Fragments for the win in Tears of the Kingdom. This is probably the Zelda game best known for packing so many weird, tiny, completely missable game details into. It's hard to just focus on just one. There's dozens of weird little interactions you can discover with the powers you earn in this game. And there's so much attention to detail, like how the surface map and the underground mirror each other in weird ways. The underground has its own mirrored locations, and the elevations matter. Water becomes an impassable rock in the underground, and high mountains on the surface. They're deep pits in the underground. It's an awesome little detail to discover, but that isn't really what we're talking about here. One interaction that we had no idea existed after hundreds of hours of playing this thing has nothing to do with the best weapons. It has to do with the star fragments. These super rare meteorites fall from the sky randomly at night, and in Tears of the Kingdom, you can do more than just sell them or use them for upgrading armor. They can also be combined, and they always give off light. So combine it with a shield, you get a portable, always-on light source, or you can shoot light fragments in different ways. The most fun interaction we found is in the underground. By attaching a star fragment to a magic wand, you can shoot out light that shows you the way through the darkness. The light fragments from the magic rod split into 3, and they bounce off any surface, putting off way more light than we really imagined it would. And all the magic rods gain elemental effects from different gems. Sure, yes, that's true, but star fragments, I just didn't think that it would do anything. A lot of the times in this game, I don't think it's going to do anything, and then it has something highly specific it does. Using star fragments to light up the underground and map out where the light routes are, which are directly under shrines, or vice versa. If you can find one, you've found the other, blah, blah, blah. All the classic outfits need star fragments to update as well. There's a totally random drop that only appears sometimes in the sky. We found a grand total of 5 of these super rare star fragments after like 100 hours playing, but there are easier ways to find them. Just falling from the sky at night gives Link a pretty good chance of spotting a falling star fragment, and dropping off right at night near the Mayhem Shrine almost guarantees you'll see a star fragment. Now that's something we had no idea existed for a very long time. And number 2 is the Mecha Chocobo in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is the best unlockable reward, and it's got nothing to do with the Queen's Blood card game, nothing to do with summons, the super secret boss Gilgamesh, blah, blah, blah. No, only the most psychotic Final Fantasy VII Rebirth players will ever unlock the Mecha Chocobo, because the task easily takes well over 100 hours. The Gold Saucer Robot Chocobo is unlocked by completing the Can't Stop, Won't Stop side quests in Gold Saucer. After completing every single side quest in the game, you'll unlock this additional challenge in the biggest casino. The Shinra Middle Manager character will challenge you to harder versions of every single activity. And some of these activities are already too hard, let's just say. So you have to beat his high score in every minigame, which is grueling, crushingly difficult, and has nothing to do with being actually good at the core gameplay of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The Chocobo race against the middle manager is probably one of the worst, with random obstacles that can end your run if you're not too careful. The Musclehead Coliseum challenges are also brutal. Every fight's a weird gimmick that will chew you up if you're not perfectly equipped for whatever weird scenario they throw at you. The genuine worst challenge isn't even the annoying Queen's Blood card game. For our money, beating the 3D brawler is probably the worst. Memorizing every button combo and spitting it out in a split second, it's way harder than it has any right to be. But for doing all that nonsense, you get the Mecha Chocobo. With it, you can show off how great you are. You did everything in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Even if not doing everything actually makes the game a lot better. Sometimes a game can have too many mini-games, to be frank. And finally, at number 1, it's the Cyberpunk 2077 FF06B5 Rabbit Hole. One of the wildest alternate reality game hunts in a major video game. The rabbit hole I just mentioned runs very deep, and it leads to a cryptic cutscene that the community is still trying to interpret. We have no idea what any of this means. We just know it's very cool, it's very cryptic, and it's a kind of weird thing nobody's really gonna find unless you're determined to discover everything from your favorite game. So let's back up. The big secret started after the big 2.0 update to Cyberpunk, which is also the official point this very mixed game became very good. The update didn't just make the gameplay better, it also added a new location to the map, a weird shack in the middle of the farms. Following a series of completely unintelligible clues, players could reach a strange little arcade machine and access an old-school FPS shooter called Arasaka Tower 3D. It's a weird little game inspired by Wolfenstein 3D, where you play as Johnny Silverhand, or Keanu Reeves, fighting through the Arasaka Tower before the bomb goes off. There's a hidden twist to the game. Finding a secret level and walking through the maze in a special way reactivates a mainframe in the real world, which leads to codes, which leads to more puzzles that are too complicated to explain quickly enough to explain it in this video. By inputting hidden codes into the mainframe, you'll get coordinates that take you to the middle of nowhere in Cyberpunk 2077. If you go to these coordinates at the right time of day, wait on the mattress for the right amount of time, about 30 minutes, a very strange cutscene plays. Do not ask us to explain what happens in this cutscene. Is it a hint for the future? Maybe. Or maybe it's just another weird clue or yet another puzzle in the never-ending rabbit hole. I don't know. That's all for today. We're obviously hungry for more secrets, as are you, so let us know your favorite eureka moments in video games. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter and book me on Cameo at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on GameRanx.